Why did Nigel Farage resign from Parliament just to run again for the same seat? That is the question behind Britain's strangest by-election campaign. Farage has stepped down as MP for Clacton, a coastal constituency in eastern England.
I've thought about it hard, and I've decided today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which should happen, I hope, in short order.
But instead of leaving politics, he's immediately standing again in the by-election, triggered by his own resignation. His argument is simple. Parliament should not decide his future. The voters of Clacton should. Farage says he has done nothing wrong and wants a fresh mandate from the people who elected him.
No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win. I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started. And I would say this to you, the voters of Clacton: if I win, you win. Because if I lose, they win, and we will never, with the two old parties, get the type of fundamental change that we need to fix broken Britain.
But the timing has made the move controversial. Farage is under investigation by Parliamentary Standard Commissioner over his financial declarations. The main issue is a reported £5 million gift from billionaire cryptocurrency investor Christopher Hardborn before Farage entered Parliament in 2024. Farage says the money was an unconditional personal gift, partly to help pay for security after years of threats. He argued it falls under Parliament's exemption for personal gifts and says he broke no rules. There is also separate scrutiny around long-time Farage ally George Cottrell. Reports say Cottrell helped fund staff providing security and social media support before the 2024 general election. Cottrell was previously convicted of wire fraud in the United States. He has also been linked to financial transactions involving Reform Deputy Leader Richard Trice. Reform UK says confidential financial information was leaked and has asked the National Crime Agency to investigate. Farage's position is that the scrutiny is politically motivated. He says rules are being used against him because reform has become a serious threat to Britain's main parties. That is why he is trying to turn the by-election into a public verdict on him. But Britain's biggest parties are refusing to play along. Labour called the by-election a circus and accused Farage of trying to distract from questions about his finances.
A desperate stunt from Nigel Farage, and it's obvious why he's doing it. He is up to his neck in sleaze. Politics should be about improving the lives of millions of people, not about personal gain, not about hiding dodgy donations. And I think the public will see this for exactly what it is.
Conservatives called it a fake election.
Nigel Farage is having a hissy fit because the first time he's actually having to deal with some real scrutiny. What he needs to do is be honest about where his fishy £5 million came from, rather than calling a fake by-election to run away from a standards investigation. We will be standing a candidate in the real by-election because no one is above Parliament. Parliament is bigger than all of us. We all have to follow the same rules. We all have to register our interests. What this by-election is a gimmick. This is him wanting to make everything about himself rather than his offer to the country at a time when we have a defence crisis, a retiring Prime Minister, so much change and turbulence. Conservative Party is the only party that's actually focused on the issues that matter to people. We will be standing a candidate in the real by-election, which will follow the standards investigation. We're not standing a candidate in the fake by-election, which Nigel Farage is causing to distract people from what is happening. We need to let that investigation run its course. And I think the reason why Nigel Farage is doing this is because he is very worried that he's going to be found to have done something wrong. The best thing for him to have done would have been to call a press conference and explain what he did with the money, apologise if needs be, and that would have been the end of it. Instead, he has been running away from scrutiny. He's not answering any questions. And what I'm saying is that no one is bigger than Parliament. We all have to do the right thing. We all have to register our interests. We, the Conservative Party, are very focused on uniting the country around sensible policies. There's a lot that people are unhappy about. We're going to focus on getting Britain working again and showing some common sense, not throwing random by-elections out because we're having a hissy fit.
The Liberal Democrats urge parties to not give oxygen to what they described as a vanity project. The Greens and Restore Britain are also staying out.
We're a party that does things differently. Genuinely, we try and we do have internal democracy. We're trying to have healthy debates and discussions, and ultimately we care really deeply about people in Clacton, and our local party have decided as a whole, all of us, that we won't be standing a candidate in the by-election.
You won't be?
We won't be standing a candidate.
Okay.
I just think it's just a stunt, and I think people are really seeing that for what it is, and people are so fed up. In Clacton, I was there just before Christmas talking to people who really put their faith into someone that they thought was going to be different, and who has arguably turned out to be part of the establishment he claims he's not a part of. This is someone who has taken £5 million and not declared it on a form that we're not talking, I don't think, about an error or a mistake, which I think I accept anybody can do that. This is an enormous sum of money that he has not declared on a form and now thinks he can worm his way out of it by pulling this massive stunt. What it does is throws people in that constituency who are already struggling, like so many people in the country, into further turmoil.
That leaves Farage facing mostly independent candidates and one very familiar joke candidate, Count Binface. For a politician who built his career on attacking the establishment, the boycott creates an unusual problem. Farage wants a dramatic fight with the political class. The political class is refusing to enter the ring. Still, the risk for him has not disappeared. If he wins and returns to Parliament, the standard investigation can resume. If the Commissioner later recommends a suspension of more than 10 sitting days, that could trigger a recall petition. If 10% of eligible voters in Clacton sign that petition, Farage could face another by-election. And next time, major parties have suggested they may stand. So this vote is a gamble. A win would let Farage claim that voters backed him despite the allegations. A messy contest, low turnout, or a strong protest vote could weaken that message. Farage has spent decades presenting himself as Britain's political outsider. He helped push Brexit from the margins into the centre of British politics. He entered Parliament only in 2024 after 7 failed attempts. Now Reform UK is rising in national polls and challenging both Labour and the Conservatives. That makes every controversy around him bigger. This by-election is about 1 seat in Clacton, but it is also a test of Farage's political brand. Can he turn a standard investigation into a campaign against the establishment? Can he use a self-triggered by-election to strengthen Reform's momentum? And can he do that when most major parties have decided the best response is to ignore the show? The voters of Clacton would decide whether Farage returns to Parliament. The bigger question is whether this gamble makes him look stronger or just leaves him sharing the stage with Count Binface. For more such explainers, subscribe to DawnNews English.